All right, let's talk about something huge happening in AI right now. We're going way beyond just chatbots. I'm talking about Agentic AI. That's AI that can actually do things for you. And it's not just a cool demo anymore. This stuff is getting baked into the very foundation of, well, everything.
And that really tees up the big question, right? These AI agents are moving from just showing off what they can do to actually running our world. I mean, for real. So the question is, are we ready for that? Like, at all? Let's get into it.
Okay, so for these agents to truly run the world, they can't be siloed off. They've got to be able to communicate, to work together. Think of it like they need a shared language, almost like building a nervous system for all of AI. And guess what? That's precisely what the biggest players in tech are focused on building as we speak. And what's just wild is who's involved. We're talking about the new Agentic AI Foundation, the AIIF. And look at the lineup. Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, AWS. I mean, it's basically the entire tech Mount Rushmore. And they're all getting together to standardize the plumbing, the rules of the road for how these AI agents talk to each other. The heart of it all is this thing called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, which Anthropic donated. You can basically think of it as the Rosetta Stone for AI, letting all these different systems finally speak the same language.
And you really can't overstate how important this is. This isn't just some minor software patch. The quote on screen nails it perfectly. It's like what Kubernetes did for containers. It's creating a foundational layer, a standard that everyone can trust and build on. Suddenly, you're not locked into one company's system. And for big businesses, that's the green light they've been waiting for, to really, truly invest in this stuff.
But, it's never that simple, is it? Not everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet here. We're seeing a huge split in strategy. On one side, you've got this massive open alliance with Google, Microsoft, and the rest, all betting that open standards will make everything grow faster. But then, you've got Meta, and they're going in the complete opposite direction, building their own closed, tightly controlled system. This is a genuine fork in the road, and the path these companies choose is going to shape the next 10 years of AI.
So with all this incredible new power comes, well, a whole new world of problems, specifically security problems. As these agents get more and more capable, the risks just skyrocket. And all those guardrails people talk about, the safety features, yeah, they are nowhere near enough to handle what's coming. And if you want a perfect, terrifying example of why, just listen to this. A developer, this is a true story, asked an AI agent to do something simple. Just clean up a code folder. But the AI made a tiny mistake in the command it wrote, and it deleted his entire Mac home directory. Everything. Gone. That right there is the new reality we're in. A tiny slip-up from an AI can be an absolute catastrophe. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You wouldn't let a hallucinating employee make 10,000 decisions per hour unsupervised. And yet, that's exactly what we're doing with these AI systems. We're giving them immense power and then just hoping for the best with these weak guardrails. It's absolutely a recipe for disaster. The whole mindset has to shift. It's not about polite suggestions anymore. It's about putting hard locks in place and working from the assumption that the AI will screw up.
So what's the solution? Well, security teams are basically throwing out the old rulebook. Here's the new game plan. First, you have to realize that guardrails are just for the user interface. They're not actual security. For that, you need real identity controls. Second, you've got to sandbox everything. Isolate these agents so if they go rogue, they can't burn the whole house down. Third, you need to know what you've got. Map out every single AI tool being used. And finally, and this is a big one, you have to worry about model poisoning. Think about this. It can take as few as 250 bad examples to poison a model and make it totally useless for a specific task. That's a terrifyingly small number.
All right, so we've talked tech, we've talked security, but how is this all actually affecting you and me right now in our daily lives? Let's take a look at the good, the bad, and, well, the just plain broken.
Let's start with the good stuff. We are seeing some seriously helpful things pop up. Take Gemini and Google Maps. This is a perfect example. You're driving, and it can find you a coffee shop, jot down a note for you in Google Keep, and even pop a meeting into your calendar, all hands-free. That's the kind of everyday convenience that makes people actually want to use this technology. But for every upside, there seems to be a pretty serious downside. Take a look at this. It's pretty grim. Ever since Google's AI started just scraping recipes and showing its own answers, the actual food bloggers, the people who created that content in the first place, have seen their traffic completely nosedive. We're talking up to an 80% drop for some. For them, this isn't some cool new feature. It's what they're calling an extinction-level event for their businesses.
And it's not just about money, either. The tech itself is often, well, just not ready for prime time.
Inside the Washington Post, they tested an AI tool that was supposed to write news scripts. The result? A whopping 84% of what it produced was unusable, not good enough to publish. That just perfectly shows the huge gap between a flashy demo and something that actually works in the real world.
So when you see all this chaos in the real world, the helpful stuff, the harmful stuff, and the stuff that just doesn't work, it's no surprise what comes next: regulation. The government is starting to step in, and the race to get some rules in place for this tech is officially underway.
And the pressure is really coming from all sides. You've got the National Defense Bill adding new rules for spy agencies using AI. You've got a White House executive order trying to wrangle this into a national policy. And then you have a whole group of state attorneys general going directly to the AI companies and demanding some serious safety changes.
And here's the real kicker, what they're asking for. They want to create a new legal standard that says if an AI causes harm, it should be treated just like a major data breach. Think about that. That would mean companies would be legally required to report it, to investigate it, and to fix the damage. That is a total game changer for who's responsible when things go wrong.
Okay, so for our last section, let's pull the camera back a bit. Let's look past the issues of today and see where this is all really going. Because the next big leap isn't just about making smarter chatbots. It's about a fundamental shift from AI that predicts the next word to AI that actually understands how the world works.
The big idea here is something called a world model, and pioneers in the field, like Jan LeCun, are really pushing for this. It's a completely different way of thinking. Instead of just finding patterns in words, a world model tries to learn the basic physics of our reality, cause and effect. The whole point is to give AI something like common sense, a real gut-level understanding of how stuff works.
And while we're all distracted by the latest chatbot, there's a quiet revolution happening behind the scenes in places like factories and finance. Get this, AI is already cutting aircraft inspection times by a third. It's boosting product quality in manufacturing by 66%. It's automating super complex risk analysis for banks. This is where Agentic AI is already making a huge, measurable difference.
But playing at this level, it costs an insane amount of money. That number you see, that's potentially over $1 billion for one model, just to train it. You need tens of thousands of hyper-specialized computer chips running nonstop for months. Let's be real. This is a game that maybe 5 companies on Earth can afford to play. It's a very exclusive club. Which leaves us with one last, big, kind of scary question to chew on. As we start wiring all these incredibly powerful, unbelievably expensive, and increasingly independent AI systems together, what are we actually building? Are they just better tools to make our jobs easier? Or are we accidentally building a whole new layer on top of reality itself, one that will eventually run on its own, with or without us? The answer is far from clear, but it's probably the most important question we could be asking right now. Thanks for tuning in.